That's great. That's it. That means you already know Marketing Cloud. What is a marketing automation platform, right? So Marketing Cloud can be connected with Salesforce CRM with a managed package that is called as Marketing Cloud Connect. So when we use Marketing Cloud Connect, the data would flow from Salesforce to Marketing Cloud, right? Okay. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, Amrut.
Okay. So let's start then. So we'll traverse like navigation. So these are all studios, right? So we'll learn about email studio. So when you traverse on email studio, it's like you go to email studio and then you have all these tabs like content, subscribers, interactions, A/B testing, tracking, and admin. Right? So we'll see subscriber management. So basically, we can do subscriber management by storing these all subscribers into list or data extensions. So we have list and we have data extension to store this all information. We can create list. So list is capable of storing the information and also the data extension. So when do we use list? We use list when we want to store the subscribers and send a welcome email. We use data extensions more rather than list, as when we compare about the features, data extensions are more flexible and reliable. Right? So data extension, we can add attributes. Attributes are fields. Data extension is nothing but a table which has rows and columns. Right? So we can create data extension. There are three types of data extensions. One is standard, filtered, and random. So standard data extension, we store all the information, all the data of the subscribers like first name, last name, email, phone, and everything into a standard data extension. Filtered data extension is like we apply this filter on a standard data extension. So when we apply a filter on a standard data extension, it would be known as filtered data extension, right? When we want a random set of subscribers based on the percentage, we use random data extension or we create random data extension. So this random data extension is applied on the standard data extension. So every filtered and random, when we create these data extension, it would be always applied, or we have to apply these all filters or randoms on standard data extension, right? Same, we have list, right? We have filtered group. So when we create a list or we apply a filter on a list, it would create a filtered group. When we apply a random filter or a random filter on a list, it creates random groups, right? Then we will talk about publication list. So what is a publication list? Publication list is nothing but the type of communication. Companies always send various type of communication like promotional emails, or newsletters or any type of email. Like if it is some categorized product, it can be product notification, product promotion, or something else, right? So these type of emails or type of communication can be categorized, and now it can be updated as preference. Like if I want to receive only newsletters, not promotional emails, that means I can opt out from promotional emails and opt in for newsletters. So where is this promotion? Where can we see these preferences? We can go to Profile Center and then preview the Preference Center. Right. I need to stop the share and start it again. Yeah. So when I preview it, this is the Subscription Center, right? So in Subscription Center, I could see available publications. So this is when I click Update My Preferences, I see newsletter as an option and promotional email. So I could check those. I can say, yeah, I don't want promotional emails. I only want newsletters. So I can check this box. I can say I only want newsletters. And then I can unsubscribe from everything. So if I don't want to update preferences, I want to unsubscribe from everything, I will check this. I'll say unsubscribe from everything. That means you cannot send any emails to me, right? If I unsubscribe from everything. If I say I want only newsletters and I update, that means you can send me newsletters but not promotional emails. And these statuses would be updated into publications. So basically, when we send any campaign onto a data extension, we need to associate publication list with this data extension, right? And when someone opts out from this type of communication or the update the preferences, the status would be updated in here. So we'll have email address, the subscriber key, and the status. So status would be like opted out, active, held, or bounced. Right? So these are all statuses of a subscriber. So when someone is opted in, it is active. When someone is opted out, it would be unsubscribed. Right. So publication list. Why? By using publication list, you can manage the preferences, or you can give an option to a subscriber to update their preferences. Right. I'll show you one diagram. Just hold on. So this is publication list and Salesforce link, right? Salesforce document, wherein when we send, so we have two subscribers, subscribers A and subscriber like ABCD, and subscriber D in here. So when we send any email campaign, as you can see email icon. When we send any email from the system, a publication list is associated. Like if we are sending newsletter campaign, we will associate newsletter publication list with this campaign or with this email when we select a data extension. So automatically when it goes to, let's say, subscriber A, and he does not opt out, right? So his publication, like his status would be as an active. When it reaches subscriber D, so subscriber D opens an email and opts out, like he opts out from the communication. So his status now would be added as opt out to the publication list, right? So we give a choice to our subscriber to either to opt in, opt out to the type of communication, that is like preferences. He can update his preferences, or else he can unsubscribe from everything. So next time when we send a newsletter and this subscriber D has opted out, he would not receive any email related to newsletter, or he would not receive newsletter campaign, as the status is opted out in this publication list, as he has opted out from it. The subscriber A would receive newsletter because he has his status is active, as in he's opted in, right? He has, or his preferences are like he want this emails. He has not opted out, right? Separation list. So when we talk about separation list, it is like group of people or a list of people whom we don't want to send an email. Let's assume we have another system, we use another system or another tool for marketing, and we have some set of subscribers who unsubscribe from these emails. Now we have moved to marketing cloud, so we don't want to send the emails to these people as they have unsubscribed. So I'll upload these people into separation list. I'll upload the email addresses of these subscribers, and whenever the email campaign would be sent, I'll use this list as separation list. That means separation would hold a list of people who we don't want to send any email. It can be competitor email addresses, right? It can be the people who have unsubscribed. It can be the people who we want or we never want to send any email, right? So as we say, like on preference management, you subscribers can update their preferences. There is always a link by default into email, that is unsubscribe, update preferences, and physical address. So we have these all three links by default. And when someone clicks on update preferences, he would be seeing is this profile center or this subscription center, wherein he could opt in or opt out to the publications or to the type of communication, or he can also unsubscribe from everything. Also, he can update his profile like first name or last name, or also email address if it is about list. So if we save everything in data extensions, we have to use publication list, that is the type of communication. Okay, so let's see data extensions. So when we create a data extension, let's create a standard one. We can name it as test. External key would, you can leave it as blank. So when you keep it as blank, it would be auto generated. It would be always unique. If you don't keep it as blank, if you put it as something like any value in it, it would take that value. So I prefer always to keep it as blank. It would be auto generated. When I click on next, so we have data retention setting. So data retention setting means it would be always off by default. If we keep it as on, we can say like all records after 6 days. That means it would delete all records after 6 days. You can see. delete all records after 6 days, or delete all records and the data extension as well after 6 days, or on a specific period, on a specific date. So either it can delete all the records and data extension, or individual records. So we can delete it after specific, like 6 days after creation, or on a specific date, right? And we can reset the period on import. Like if we have created this data extension after 6 days, it would be automatically deleted, or it would delete all the records. And now we import something again on the 7th day. So it would again reset the counter, it would again reset the period of import, it would again count 6 days after that, right? So this is by default. Like when you want to dispose of any data extension, you want to use it for a specific period of time, you can keep this on, else you can keep this off, right? So we'll keep as off, and we can then create the fields. First name, sorry, first name would be text, last name would be text, email would be data type as email address. We can keep it as nullable, that means it can be blank, or we can keep email as primary key. So when we keep email as primary key, it would be always unique, right? So let's keep as email as primary key, and then we'll create it. Yes, so we have the data extension as name as test, the type is standard. We have no records, sorry, we have 0 records, and it is not sendable. So when I click on it, you could see the properties. Like you can see the external key, you can see 0 records, the fields. So fields are the columns of the table, or the columns of this data extension. Like we have first name, last name, email, and on the left side you can see the details. External key is auto generated, created date, modified date, and the owner, right? So when we create on records, we can actually import a CSV. When I click on import, we can import it from a file, your computer, that is your CSV file, or from an FTP location. So when it is FTP location, you just need to give the file name you want to import, and then you need to configure the mapping, like first name with first name, last name with last name. If it is a CSV, you need to have mapping with the headers, and then you can import. So once you import, you will have the records in the data extension. And then when you want to send any campaign on this data extension, you can see used for sending is no. So you need to mark this data extension as sendable, that is used for sending, and then map the subscriber key. So Salesforce recommends that you always keep email address as a subscriber key, as it would be unique value, or you can keep the record ID that are coming from Salesforce as a subscriber key. So Salesforce IDs can be subscriber key, or email addresses can be subscriber key, recommended by Salesforce, right? As we want unique values, we don't want any duplications. So when we map email as subscriber key and save it, now we can send campaign, we can send emails on this data extension. So when you want to use this data extension for testing, you can check the box used for testing. That means you can actually use this data extension for internal testing. You can use it when you want to test any email template before sending it to live data extension or to the live data, right? Let's save it. So we have data extensions, we have list. I want or I need you guys to look at the difference between data extension and list. So there are multiple differences based on the storage, based on the recommendations, based on the speed of access, based on the functionality. Like when you want to send welcome email to the subscribers when they are added to a list or when they sign up, it can be achieved via list. So when you create data extension, this functionality is not available by default. You need to either create an automation or you need to create a journey where you can send welcome email. So list has its own disadvantages. Data extension has its own disadvantages and advantages as well. So you could check the difference between list and data extensions. Right? So where groups, when we create or when we apply a filter on a list, it creates group. When we would apply a filter on or a random filter on the list, it would create a random group. Right? So let's try to apply a filter. So how do we apply a filter? You can see on the screen, you can see a filter icon, right? So once I click on the filter, I would have the fields from the data extension. And when I can drag and drop the fields directly and I can check the conditions, right? So I can say email is not empty. And when I save and build, says email null and the data extension name for test. So we have zero records because we don't have any record into our source data extension, that is test. Right? So this is, and the type is filtered. So this is filtered data extension. So filtered data extensions are created. Filter data extensions are created when we apply a filter on a standard data extension. So we applied a filter on a standard data extension, that is the test. The name is test, and then we created a filtered data extension named as email not null and the data extension name. Right? Do you follow me, guys? Do you understand? Hello. Is it visible, guys? Okay. So same goes with data filters. We can create filters. We can create a filter on a list. Also, we can create a filter on a data extension. So we can create a filter using our attributes, that is our list. When we say profile attributes, it is list. When we say data extension, like we can apply it on standard data extension, right? So we understood all subscribers. So what is all subscribers? So basically, when we send email on data extension or on a list, whatever emails are being sent or whatever emails are being sent to the records, these records would be added to all subscriber list. So we understood all subscribers, list, groups. So we don't have any list, I think. Let's create one. So when we apply a filter on a list, on the profile attributes, it would create a filtered group. So we need to create a profile. So we can select data type as text. I'm creating a profile attribute as text designation. Yes. And now we can apply a filter on the list with profile designation as not null. Is not empty. When we save it, so when we would save it, it would be saved into my groups by default. The type would be filtered, right? So it would be known as, or it would be known, or it would be called as filtered group, right? Same goes with the random thing. So if we go to a list and we apply filter, it would be creating, or it creates a filtered group. When we go to a group and try to create a random group and select the list, so we can say 50% of group size. So this segment 0 would contain 50% random subscribers. So for now we have 0 subscribers. Let's assume if we have 10, it would be 5 subscribers randomly. So we don't have any specific criteria when we create random groups. So it would segregate or separate out the subscribers based on the percentage or based on the number of accounts you want, and it would be random, right? So when we create, so we have all subscribers, we have list, groups, publication, separation, and data extension. So this all is subscriber management. How could you manage your subscribers? How could you create the data extensions? How could you create the list? I hope you're clear on these things. Then we have shared items, like these are used when you want to share the list or data extension between the business units. So we'll see business units as well. So business unit is nothing but the entities or different type of business unit can be under one roof. Like one brand can have different businesses. Like for example, uh, Reliance has Reliance Group has Reliance Industries, Reliance Chemicals. Then we have Reliance Petrochemical, like Reliance Petrol and all these things. So we can say these are all different entities, right? So it is Geo is a part of Reliance as well. So when we say Geo is a separate company as well, but for example, let's say Geo and Petrochemicals can be two different business unit in one account, right? So these are different business unit would have different set of users, different set of people accessing these business unit, different set of subscribers as well. So subscribers for this telecommunication would be different, subscriber for this petrochemical can be different, right? So to manage these subscribers on a business unit level or on account level, we create business unit, right? It is like multiple brands under one roof, and multiple brands would have separate entities, would be behaving like separate entities, everything would be separate. So when you want to share something between these business units, you'll use shared data extension. To share the data extension, you will use shared separation list. To share the separations or the list you want to share, and the publication, like shared publication, where you can share the publication list between the business units, right? You can also control the access, you can also control the read write permissions, also you can control which business unit can see these lists and which cannot, right? I think that's for today. We'll continue these all things in our next sessions. What are the trailers you need to follow? I'll send it to you on Telegram. The trailers you will follow for this, that is called Marketing Cloud Basics, and then subscriber management. So let's have that question. Let's have questions, right? If you have any questions, you can just ping me. I'm here, and also you can ask into Q&A section. Everyone, are we good with it? Do you have any questions? Okay, then I think that's it for today. We'll have the next one at maybe tomorrow, if possible, or on Saturday. Right? You'll receive all the notifications on the group.